Daniel Defense is asking about a breakout wide receiver, who that would be in 2019.
I think that KJ Osborne coming in from Buffalo because his skill set is really good and he's produced at the college level already is his name to watch. And it does irk. I don't want to say irk my nerves, but it is just kind of a little bit of a sentimental thing to me. KJ Osborne is going to wear number 82, which was Amon Richards' number before he had to retire. So just a little bit of a like tear kind of thing. But I think that he's going to be a guy. And I've said it so many times on Twitter. Usually before I go home from work on Fridays, the last little 35, 40 minutes, I just do questions the last like 40 minutes of work on Fridays, I usually open it up to questions and people invariably ask me this question and I invariably answer, Mark Pope. Kid is a 5-star caliber recruit. He single-handedly went and won Miami Southridge a state championship a couple years ago. They ran a play for D. Wiggins, go route up the left sideline, threw the ball. D. Wiggins couldn't get there. They call a timeout. It was like 4th in the ball game, down by like 6 points. And Pope goes to his coach and he says, Coach, flip me and D and run it again. And I got you. And 74 yards later, Miami Southridge won a state championship. That kid is really good. And I don't think that, especially if you're going to a system where it's going to fit his skills a little bit better, I think Mark Pope is the guy to watch because I think that he has the athletic ability that few guys in the receiver room have.
And again, I think if you guys get the word out, we can get 1,000 on the line. We're at 304, and I mean in future weeks. All right, with the addition of Bolden, Alex is asking about the balance of playing time between Bolden, Amari Carter, and Gervin Hall.
I mean, situational, make it work. I mean, those are your 3 safeties. It's like years ago, Miami had Rayshawn Jenkins, Deion Bush, and Jamal Carter. Yeah, those 3 guys. Those are 3 NFL players, and I said it then. But Miami insisted on playing Nantambo Akil Fentress and AJ Highsmith at safety. And I'm like, dude, you got 3 NFL players. That should be the core rotation. That's the same thing this year. Bolden, Hall, and Carter. That should be the core rotation at safety. I don't necessarily care right now who starts or anything, or like, if you split the snaps 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 between those guys, fine. But yeah, I mean, that needs to be the core of the safety rotation. Obviously, eligible. Well, no, all of those guys are eligible, and then injuries notwithstanding. If as long as those guys are healthy. But yeah, I mean, we can sit here and try to parse out who's going to have more snaps or whatever. But those are 3 NFL caliber guys down the line. So as long as that is the key core of the safety rotation. And again, I don't want to see Robert Knowles out there. That is Nantambo Akil Fentress again. That is AJ Highsmith again. Like, you don't have the range. And I mean, yeah, you don't got the juice. So we got guys who are better and going to be better. So play the guys who are better. So again, as long as those guys are the core of the safety rotation, the actual snap breakdown really doesn't make me that big of a difference. And when they start making plays, that'll dictate who has more snaps.
Got Cam Underwood on the line, of course, State of the U. And Cam joins us on a regular basis here talking Miami football. If you love college football top to bottom, all these schools and many, many more, we talk college football. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. So please help us out and get the word out. In particular, we've got Carlos, who's interested about how the secondary 2-deep chart is going to look in week 1.
How the secondary 2-deep is going to look in week 1. That's a good question. Like I said last week on here, the safeties are going to be between Bubba Bolden, Gervin Hall, and Amari Carter. And then you can add in a 4th guy there. Maybe it's Gilbert Frierson as a super sub. Maybe it's, I don't know, but like you're going to have another guy. Maybe it's Keontre Smith who bumps his way up into the top 4 at safety. But I think that, those 3 dudes at the top, Carter, Hall, and Bolden, those are future NFL players. So those guys should be at the top of the rotation, definitely from the beginning of the season. So those guys are there, and I'm comfortable saying that. At cornerback, And that's where the kind of questions are for me. Definitely Trajan Bandy is going to be a starter at corner. And I don't think that there's any real controversy that can be had on that point. Behind him, I mean, DJ Ivy's going to need to step up. Al Blades is going to have to play more base defense snaps. He did play some this past year, but he was really a special teams guy. He was even special teams captain for a couple of games. Al Blades Jr. was, but he's going to have to play in more base defense. Gilbert Frierson, who redshirted last year, he's going to have to play in base defense. Corey Couch is just small and thin, so I don't necessarily think he's going to be out there against Florida. Christian Williams, Miami's newest signee today. That's a guy who's probably going to have to step up. And, maybe you cross-train some guys. Maybe you bump Gervin Hall down into the slot in nickel. You know what I mean? So you have 3 safeties and 2 corners, and you kind of have that positional versatility to be able to do that. So I would think between those guys is how your the top end of the secondary is going to be. But if I had to say starters right now, I would say Trajan Bandy and DJ Ivy at corner, Al Blades at nickel, or Al Blades could maybe even come in and play boundary and bump Bandy into the nickel inside on third downs. And then, like I said, 2 or 3 between Bolden, Carter, and Hall. I'll probably say Bolden and Carter to start, but don't quote me on that.
226 on the line. Thanks so much for liking the video. We've got 71 right now that have liked. So I understand from a number of comments on here, and I appreciate everyone who jumps on this live chat and encourages everybody else to hit the like button. And then people may mention that they're on their phone. It's difficult to do, whatever. No issues there. Enjoy the conversation, but we ask that you keep that in mind, and then you go back after the video post and just hit the like button. So help us out right there.